We welcome you, sir. It seems that sir is not available at this moment. We will move forward. We are now joined by Professor Dr. Anmol Dev Chavhan from India, a professor of law and academic dean at Maharashtra National Law University, Mumbai. He is also he is also the former professor of law at National Law University and Judicial Academy, Assam. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Hope I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Honorable Lordship Bimla Madam and Vishwajit Tiwari ji of from the Nyaya Shastra and all the distinguished participant of this international seminar and on the topic of the world peace and the sustainable peace and justice. So when I was thinking on this particular topic, what I supposed to talk on the peace and the sustainable peace and the justice. So I just picked the one topic which I personally feel this is very important to establish the peace at the globe level. So I will talk on to the gender justice as a prerequisite of the global peace and solidarity. Why the gender justice or the gender equality is required to establish the peace at the globe level? As we all know, still that is we already after adoption of the UDHR we already completed 78 years more than that. And so far, India is concerned, where we have the 78 years of the independence and more than 75 years of the adoption of the Constitution of India. And there are so many protocols, conventions, and there are so many treaties which is available at the globe level for the protection, equality of the men and women, but still the half of the population is struggling for the their rights and for the sustainability. Now the problem is that what I personally feel, why the gender justice is required to establish the global peace, because that is the whole world is, if we divide it into the as per the sex category. So the world includes the male and female, and the main struggle is the between the male and female, or the now the transgenders and the other people, where these particular people, that is the female, the transgenders, and the other peoples who are suffering from the particular kind of the discrimination, and because of that discriminations and the hate and the treatment which is given to this particular group of people, I think there is a need to work to establish the peace. Now, when we talk about the gender justice, so gender justice is not related and it is not limited with the male or the female. It is related with the gender identity at the globe level. That we all are surprised that the one gender persons or the one community is struggling to get the justice, equality, and the equal opportunity in all sectors, where they need to come on the road and where they need to protest, and they are supposed to cry for their rights, and then the government or the at the globe level they will be recognized. Now why this particular kind of the things is exist at the globe level? So the gender justice is referred to the fair and equitable treatment of the individual, where the socially, economically, or politically this particular group or the gender will not take the or will not get the equal treatment at the globe level. And that's why I personally feel there is a reasons for to, that is the disturbance at the globe level. Now, when we talk about the gender justice, so gender justice includes the gender equality. Of course, we have the laws, we have the policies, we have the constitutional rights, and we have the international protocols, where the equality is guaranteed to all human beings, irrespective of the discrimination on the basis of sex and the gender. But what I'm going to address here, you that is the though the principles of equality, principles of fairness, principle of equal opportunity, and the protection against the any kind of the violence is given under the law, but still the practical implementations of this particular rules policy is not reaching to the particular person who is required it. I just refer the one incident. The 2 days back I referred this particular incident in at the one another international conference in the state of Arunachal Pradesh, where the where the 90 girl students walk in the night 65 kilometers, and they reach to the particular place where they demanding the appointment of the teacher in their school. And I came to know by the news that the particular school is a girls' school where the teacher is not appointed by the state. Now, consider that we are in the era of globalization. We are in the era of the technology advancement. We are in the 21st century, where the one particular category of the people is still the struggling for getting the basic and the fundamental rights which is guaranteed under the constitution as well as the at international level. So these kind of the practices where it gives the scope for to make the imbalance between the what we call as the balance between the between the two groups or on the basis of the gender. Now, considering the gender justice, so the gender justice basically, or the gender biasness, so far India and the globe, more or the less, the grounds are the same. Basically, that our gender justice, gender discriminations or the biases are basically based on the religious and the caste factor. What we observe that the particular group or the particular community or the particular religious peoples are discriminated on the basis of their caste and the religious background, where it creates the kind of the discriminations between these particular two groups. Secondly, so far the territorial factor, I just refer the cultural and the territorial factor, how it reflect to the gender biases. Though my example may be wrong, but what I'm going to convey you, I just refer the one documentary which I watched onto the YouTube. It is the story of the Himachal Pradesh, where the Draupadi Pratha is, or the Draupadi tradition is in practice into the Hatti community. There is a Hatti community where the one woman is we may say that by force or by her will and wish. So the one woman is married with all the brothers into the family. Now, when I came to know to when we think about the gender equality, or when we say that there is a what we call it, there is an equality in opportunity, this and that. So when I was thinking about this particular community, then I realized what about the rights, what about the physical, mental, and the other rights of that particular women, whether it is followed, observed, and respect by the community or by that the cultural practices. Now, the gender biases is not restricted; it is not limited with the particular country or the particular territory or the particular culture. More or the less, the gender biases and the gender discriminations exist into the globe. Now, unless and until we overcome this particular gender biases, so we are not supposed to establish the peace. Now, if you go with the statistic at the globe level, then you will realize and you will found that the offenses against to the women, offenses against to the transgender people, or offenses against to the any other community base or the religious base, you will found this statistically it is very less in numbers. Why it is so? Because you know the legal system in so far India is concerned, and the legal system which is prevalent into the other countries also, where the women or this particular people did not file a case into they did not approach to the police or the court or any other agencies, where the number of actual number of offenses or actual number of the cases is very the more than which is reported on the record. Now, considering the gender equality, so far so far if we consider the gender discriminations or the gender inequality, where we are not able to establish the peace at the globe level, it the discrimination is not limited with the particular field. It including the unequal employment, wages gap, lack of access to educations, and the leadership gap in informal educational disparities, and the health access, because still that women and the transgender peoples in the almost in the I'm talking about the underdeveloped or the other countries where these particular peoples are still struggling for this particular basic fundamental rights, where it is essentially guaranteed by the international conventions and by the state laws. Now, coming to the gender-based violence, if we go with the gender-based violence, where the forced marriages is there, the kidnapping, abduction, and the selling of minor girls, and there are so many other offenses which is based upon which is committed against to, and which is based upon the gender. Now, unless and until we overcome this particular the violences and the offenses against to the particular gender, so we will not establish the peace in reality. Now, coming to the international the protection which is given, as I refer the UDHR, where Article 1, Article 3, 4, 5, these particular articles given the rights to that is, no person shall be discriminated, the persons are no shall be held in a slavery, and there are so many other rights which is guaranteed under the ICCPCR and the ICCSCR, and the Convention on the Elimination of All Form of Discrimination, and so on and so forth. Apart from that, we have the so many provisions under the Constitution of India, where it starts with the preamble and the fundamental rights parts and the directive principles, where the Indian government provides through the constitutional provisions, where the preamble itself says it is made for the gender justice, where it declares country is a so that is country to be a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, and republic, and committed to securing the justice, equality, blah blah blah. So these are the rights which is guaranteed under the Constitution of India, the fundamental rights, Article 14, 15, 16, and so on and so forth. But the problem is that the considering the laws or the policies or the protection which is available on the paper, and the laws and policies and the principle which is in practice, so there is a huge gap between the law and the practice, law and the implementations. And that's why the gender justice is not, that is still we are, if we says that the another if we go with the sex wise male and female, so 50% populations of the world is still struggling for the basic rights or the equality or the opportunity or the peace and the justice and so forth. Now, why it is the 50% population is still struggling for the peace and the other things? Because we are not able to manage the what we called as a theory and practice in reality. Apart from that, if we refer the specific laws which is made specifically what we called as for giving the gender justice to the women and the other persons. Say, for example, Hindu Succession Act, protection of women from the domestic violence or the sexual harassment at the workplace, prohibition of child marriage, and so many other laws, where it provides including the dowry prohibition and the POCSO and the other laws. But still, the offenses under this particular laws are not reduced in reality. Still the women is struggling against the struggling for violence related with the dowries. Still the women is experiencing the sexual and the other kind of the harassment and the exploitations at the workplace. in so many cases also, the Supreme Court of India give the directions or give the guidelines to how to overcome this particular problem so far the gender bias and the gender related issues are concerned. But still, India and the other countries, we all are struggling to get the gender justice in reality, because the gender justice, unless and until we establish and we promote the gender justice, other gender justice to all, we are not supposed to establish the peace at the globe level. Now, the solution or the recommendations of this particular problem is with we all, because we all are intellectuals and we all are from the law backgrounds. We know what will be the probable solution to overcome this particular problem, because that today we are celebrating the Peace Day, and where the 50% of population is not living in a peaceful way, because they are struggling from the particular kind of the barriers and the particular kind of the discrimination. So I live with you all intellectual peoples. What will be the probable solutions to overcome this particular problem of the gender justice, and how we will be establish the peace in the coming years. With this, I'm very thankful to the Nyaya Shastra, and who give me an opportunity to speak on this particular event. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much, sir, for your enlightening speech. Next, we have Dr. Pragnaya S. Patil from India, the Principal and Associate Professor at K.H. Patil School of Law, Bengaluru. She is also the former Principal and Associate Professor at the Oxford College of Law, Bengaluru. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Shambhavi. A very good morning to all, good afternoon to all of you, to the esteemed members of Nyaya Shastra team,